Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit more about the landfall matchup. Um, just about being aggressive, like I'll say, it's a pretty common play pattern that if you're on the play, you might level your artist talent on turn three if you don't have a three drop, because then you can unturn and untap and really go off. And especially if you know they don't have any disenchants main deck, they don't tend to, and a lot of lists don't even play that many sideboard. But obviously, sideboard, you have to be a little bit more wary about that. And about just that, like, a lot of times it's fine to slam monuments because if they untap, they can't do enough, and if you untap with your monument, it's going to be good for you. Um, and yeah, I mean, so much of the matchup is just like generic being mana efficient sort of a stuff. So it's hard to, say too much like generic stuff like, if you're on the draw, you're obviously going to mulligan a bit more aggressively, whereas if you're on the play, more of your hands you can keep, but mulliganing, I don't know if it's like too matchup specific, like they're a bit slower than Cub. Like obviously you kind of like to have a one drop if you're on the draw, or um a functional hand, is two drops can be good, but obviously the range, like for example, if you're on the draw and your hand's like three lands, two abandon, two monument, you might uh throw that back looking for an interaction. I'd have to think about that more on the top of my head, but the hand does seem pretty slow because you're not going to do anything until turn four on the draw against screen. Whereas if you're on the play, that hand seems more keepable. Yeah, uh, it's hard to say too much about like Snakeskin in particular. I mean, sometimes you can sniff it out if they sequence kind of weird. Obviously, worth being aware if you attack with Grand and try and removal in combat, you could get blown up by Snakeskin if you're not being super careful. Sometimes I've tunnel visioned and I thought like Firebending or Barrage could just kill anything, but if they have an active Earthbender and they play a Might Form Harmonizer, they can like sometimes turn it into a 6/6 if they have a fetch land in play that's kind of fringe. Yeah, just wanted to add that. Just imagine people like having Monument, but they were being too scared and passing when, maybe they should be deploying their Monument and stuff like that. And yeah, pretty much that, I guess. I mean, this might be kind of obvious, but obviously you don't want it, like if they Earthbender, it's like pretty bad to hit their land because they just got to trigger anyway, and their 2/2 doesn't do that much. You if they're attacking with it, they're not tapping it for mana. That's kind of obvious, but I have seen people sometimes get a little bit aggressive killing the lands. Obviously, there's times when it's right too. If you want to attack with a Grand, if you just have a million cards in hand, whatever. But yeah, that's part two.